the other catty women that say, "Oh, you have kids. You shouldn't be wearing something like that and posting something like that." Have you ever had to deal with that type of situation, and how did you deal with it?
Oh, all the time. But they've learned to stay in their lane. Who are they to input that type of opinion when those opinions don't pay my bills?
Well, do you ever feel though, like, because I mean, there's always been this thing that women go through, and it's even retrospect, even in wrestling. One of my very good friends, Mickey James, who is your age as well, beautiful, probably the best wrestler to ever live, female wise, and she was put into a lot of storylines throughout her career of being old, because obviously they look at in the wrestling business, like when you reach 30, it's old, and women have this always this thing to deal with of the stereotype, like whether
Right.
it's in the film industry or TV. Once you reach a certain cap, and then it comes to the point of like women who are over the age of 40, who have kids, where you get people who make those statements of like, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. So I ask you, do you ever feel that, one, there's a double standard when it comes to men and women in the business? And second, do you feel that there should be an age limit on a woman being sexy?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, if anything, you should be sexier as you get older. You
I
should be
agree.
sexier. I mean, the more you know, the better you should be. I mean, I'm 40 now, but when I'm 50, I better be looking better than I do now. I'm just saying, J-Lo, goals. When she rocked that pole at 50 years old, I was like, yes, queen, yes. Let me be motivated, because everybody
Mm-hmm.
needs motivation. And that motivated me. I mean, I not once looked at J-Lo in that film and said, "Oh, I can't believe she is stripping. I can't believe she is going up and down that pole." I'd be like, hell yeah, if I look like that, I'd be going up and down that pole too. My God. And it's a movie. It's not like she's a real stripper anyways. But it's like, who are people to judge? You know
But
what?
why do you think they judge? Why do
Because
you
their
feel this?
own insecurities. That's why they judge. They're not comfortable in their own skin. Number one, they're not secure in themselves. Number
Mm-hmm.
one. So when you're not secure in yourself, you're judging other people. Because clearly you're judging yourself because you're insecure and you're not looking at yourself with respect. So if you're not respecting yourself, you're not going to respect other people.
But do
Period.
you think there should be do you think that with the double standard in entertainment and sports, that it should be changed? Like, it shouldn't be about your age. Like, if you still got it, you still got it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But unfortunately, society utilizes the younger age. But what I love about WWE, they didn't do that. They chose the older demographic of females that instead of the 20-year-olds. If you looked at
Mm-hmm.
the first week, those girls were crazy young. They were mad young.
I have to go back and look at it. I have to
And
go back.
then you see the women that they chose to continue. We're all, four of us are in or three of us are in our 40s. Two of them were in their 30s.
Well, I
But the
think it's
first,
yeah. Continue.
but the first set of girls, the first week, they were clearly in their 20s.
Well, I think because I mean, when you look at the, and I think if the Hurt business had stayed intact the way that it was, it might have been a mix of a combo of the 20-year-olds and the 40-year-olds, because Cedric Alexander being younger and that demographic. And then, but I think with you guys, it fit the mold better due to the sophistication of the
Mm-hmm.
way that not only MVP presents himself,
Right.
but just with Bobby and everything else, that you wouldn't see them with somebody of that lower class. I wouldn't say lower class, but like that's pitching towards that younger demographic, because they have a certain standard, the way that they present
Mm-hmm.
themselves, and I think that's what made all of you guys blend in. And what I loved about it that made it different compared to other situations where you didn't have just like a bunch of black girls. You had like a combination of like you, Latina, black, white, this whole, you know, mix of
Diversity.
flavors, a diversity. And I think that, to me, I give the hats off to WWE for doing that, for because it's like, you know what, somebody who sees, even too, and I think, you know, what you guys have been able to do for you women, hope for the women that did tune in, who were moms that were fans watching, that were like, hey, I got kids. I'm over 40.
Right.
I can do that shit.
Right.
Like I could do, because a lot of people, you know, they think in their mindset that like after they reach 40 or after
like
they
game over.
have kids, it's like life over, game over.
Like let me stop pursuing my dreams because I'm now 40. It's like, no, your dreams can actually come true after 40. There's people that find love after 40. That's the thing, is people limit themselves right here. And that's the sad part, D, is that like it's all in your head. It's all in your head. It's a mindset. And if they just got all those negative persona, negative perception, negative thinking out of their head, they would grow, they would bloom, they would level up, they would actually be satisfied because they would fulfill their dreams rather than stop them and say, okay, well, I guess this is as good as it's going to get. I'll just settle right here. Who wants to settle? Why settle for less when you could go and grab the best? Get what you want. Go get it. But people are complacent. I'm hungry. I stay hungry. I'll stay humble, but I will stay hungry. And that's the thing, is it frustrates me, is that people just like, okay, this is as good as it gets, or somebody's telling them this is as good as you're gonna get. Okay, no, you can't tell me that I'm gonna be okay with something that I'm not okay with. You can't convince me of that.
That's the thing. Honestly, with you, every time you open your mouth, it's like I'm talking to myself. Because literally, it's so rare, especially nowadays where there's so many. You know, I made a post today where I was like, you know, it's really sad generation that men are falling in love with women's bodies and women are falling in love with men's bank accounts. You know, and they're not actually falling in love with the person.
Right.
You know, and for you, like your drive, your mindset, your passion, your, as you say, your hunger for female-wise, it's like it's a beast, man. It's such a beast that, you know, to me, it's like I look at this next chapter for you, even after this WWE opportunity. It's gonna be sky's the limit for you. Like, it's really gonna be sky's the limit. You know, that I hope that the rest of the world. It's one of the reasons why too, when I was like, yo, let me manage you. Because I honestly, it was like, I think the world needs to see you. The world needs to see more of you. And I think that, like, for me, the whole Mia motivation, it's not just a word. It's like a whole brand lifestyle. It's a movement. And it's a movement that, you know what, that I can see you doing that, selling out arenas, like with the headset, like Tony Robbins for fitness, you know, and having a whole sea of people, you know, following in what your message is, because to me, it's strength, it's power, it's beauty, it's sophistication, it's class, it's intelligence, it's integrity, and you never can find that in the same person. You can find it in bits and pieces of people, but never all into one. And that's why I think for you that, like, I hope that people who are learning about you today are inspired to go after their dreams, to follow and pursue, and never expect anything, because you never know what opportunity is going to present itself. You know, so like for you, like with your company, you know, what is the goal that you want to take with your company of Mia Motivation?
Well, I don't want to limit myself to who I can impact and who I can touch. So that's why my goal is to take it virtually and do videos and to do seminars. So on a regular basis, anybody can access me through videos. And then on a live basis, I want to be able to get booked throughout the country and actually go to an arena and speak into people's lives, like bring a team with me. So it's not just me, you know, it's other people that are like-minded, that are bosses, that, you know, are driven, that are called to greater platforms to reach people. I want to bring that because that's going to be just a force, like a thunderstorm to just strike people in an electric way, to just get them charged up to level up in their life, you know. So I want to do that with a team, you know. And I actually teamed up with NSPN, and I met him through Vigilant. So with Vigilant MMA, through NSPN, you know, we're all coming together like a trifecta, and we have all these things that we're brainstorming locally that we're going to do through the sports industry, you know. So even through the fighting, through the boxing, through the MMA, through sports arenas, like. So right there, you know, I'm going to continue in that avenue with the sports, with NS